The screech of tires on wet asphalt yanked me from the haze of my post-practice days. My cleats still laced tight as I stumbled backward onto the rain-slicked curb outside the stadium. Jake Harlan's truck idled there like a predator, headlights slicing through the downpour, pinning me in place. His face twisted not in the old high school sneer I'd armored myself against, but in something raw, desperate, like a man unraveling at the seams. "Alex, get in," he barked, voice cracking over the storm's roar. "Before I lose you for good this time." For years had melted the boy I'd hated into this ghost of a quarterback, but the scar on my heart from his taunts at 17 still burned fresh, whispering that trust was just another word for trap. Rain hammered the windshield as I climbed in anyway, the cab smelling of leather and regret, because deep down, in the quiet chambers where hope hides from reason, I'd never fully let him go. It started in the fluorescent hell of Elmwood High, senior year, when the world felt like a pressure cooker ready to blow. I was Alex Rivera, the skinny kid with a sketchbook full of half-drawn dreams and a secret that weighed heavier than my backpack. Being gay in a town where faggot was tossed around like confetti at pep rallies. Elmwood, Ohio, wasn't exactly a beacon of progress. It was cornfields and Friday night lights, where football gods ruled and everyone else bowed or broke. I kept my head down, doodling quarterbacks who looked suspiciously like Jake Harlan in the margins of my history notes, telling myself it was just a crush, harmless as a fever dream. Jake was the son everything orbited, 6'2" of broad shoulders and easy charisma, with hair the color of sun-bleached wheat and eyes that could charm a confession from a stone. Captain of the varsity team, homecoming king in waiting, he had that all-American grin plastered on magazine ads for local car dealerships. But to me, he was the storm cloud that blotted out my sky. It began small. A shove in the hallway, a locker room laugh that lingered too long on my weird art. Rivera's drawing dicks again, he'd quip, his buddies howling as I flushed crimson, slamming my sketchbook shut like it held state secrets. By mid-October, it escalated. We'd been paired for a biology project, dissecting fetal pigs, of all things, in the stuffy lab that reeked of formaldehyde and unrequited longing. I fumbled the scalpel, my hands shaking not from nerves but from the way his knee brushed mine under the table. Accidental but electric. He noticed, of course. That night, whispers slithered through the halls. "Rivera's a queer." Saw him eyeing Harlan like a piece of meat. By lunch, it was graffiti on my locker, "Fairy Alex," and Jake at the epicenter, his laugh the loudest, sharpest blade. I confronted him after practice, the field muddied from an early frost, goalposts looming like skeletal fingers against the gray sky. "Why?" I demanded, voice barely above the wind. He towered over me, still in his pads, sweat beading on his forehead like diamonds. For a split second, something flickered in his eyes. Guilt? Fear? But it vanished under a mask of bravado. "Because you're a freak, Rivera. Stay in your lane." He shoved past me, shoulder-checking hard enough to spin me into the turf. I lay there until the sprinklers kicked on, cold water mixing with hot tears, vowing I'd never let him see me break again. The bullying didn't stop. It metastasized. Notes in my gym bag. "Bet you'd like to suck more than this football." Tripped in the cafeteria, my tray exploding spaghetti across the floor while the room erupted in cheers. Teachers looked the other way. Jake's dad was the sheriff, after all, and my own folks, buried in double shifts at the mill, chalked it up to boys being boys. I internalized it all, building walls from silence and straight A's, applying to colleges across the country like escape hatches from a sinking ship. Homecoming week was the nadir. The dance was in the gym, streamers in school colors dangling like nooses. I skipped it, holing up in the art room with charcoal and canvas, sketching Jake's profile from memory. The curve of his jaw, the defiant tilt of his chin. A crash at the door jolted me. There he was, Ty Askew, breath heavy with punch and something sharper, maybe whiskey swiped from his old man's cabinet. "Hiding fairy?" He slurred, snatching my drawing. His face drained of color as recognition hit. This is me." Panic clawed at me. "Give it back." But he didn't. He tore it in half, slow and deliberate, the rip echoing like my shattering resolve. Pathetic, he muttered, but his voice wavered, eyes darting as if he saw his own reflection in the fragments. He fled, leaving me to tape it back together with trembling fingers, each piece a reminder that love and hate were twins, indistinguishable in the dark. Graduation came like a mercy killing. I walked the stage in a cap and gown too big for my frame, diploma clutched like a grenade pin. Jake was there, valedictorian speech droning about second chances and embracing who you are. His gaze sliding past me like I was vapor. I bolted for Ohio State on a partial art scholarship, trading Elmwood's flatlands for Columbus's buzz. Coffee shops with rainbow flags and windows, roommates who blasted Lady Gaga unironically. I came out freshman year, tentative kisses in dorm lounges blooming into flings that healed old wounds without erasing them. But Jake haunted the edges. Football highlights on ESPN showed him redshirting at Michigan State, then transferring to OSU as a junior walk-on. Fate's cruel joke, landing him in the same city. I avoided the stadium, buried myself in graphic design classes. But whispers followed. Harlan's a beast on the field. Dated that cheerleader from Delta Gamma. Good for him, I thought, sketching faceless lovers who never quite matched the ache. Sophomore year, I stumbled into the rec league co-ed flag football, a low-stakes way to blow off steam. My team, the Buckeye Misfits, was a ragtag crew. Baristas, grad students, me with my quick feet and eye for patterns. Tryouts were a laugh, until the coordinator announced our new quarterback. Jake Harlan, fresh off a knee injury, looking for team chemistry, before suiting up for the varsity scout. The air sucked out of the field house. There he was, duffel slung over one shoulder, scanning the roster like a general. Our eyes locked, mine wide with disbelief, his narrowing in shock. "Rivera," he said, voice flat as Midwest winter. "Didn't peg you for a player. Life's full of surprises." I shot back, chin up, heart hammering. Practice was torture. His calls barked from the huddle, my routes run with precision born of spite. He targeted everyone but me, passes sailing wide when I broke free. Off-field, it was polite frost. Nods in the parking lot, small talk about weather that chilled deeper than January. But cracks formed. Late practices under floodlights. When the team thinned, he'd linger, tossing a ball my way almost shyly. "Nice cut, Alex," he'd mutter. The first time he'd used my name without venom. I'd nod, throat tight, remembering the boy who'd torn my drawing. Was this redemption or just another game? By mid-season, the Misfits were undefeated. Jake's arm a cannon that turned our scrubs into contenders. I was his go-to receiver, our chemistry unspoken but electric, anticipating fakes, sinking strides like we'd rehearsed in dreams. After a win against the City All-Stars, beers at the dive bar on High Street, he slid into the booth across from me, foam clinging to his upper lip. "Hey, about high school." "Don't." The word was a whip crack. Water under the bridge, right? Or should I say, blood in the mud? He winced, genuine. I was an asshole, scared shitless of everything. My dad breathing down my neck about manhood. The team watching my every move. You were just collateral. Collateral. The word stung, but his eyes, those damn eyes, held no lie. "And now," I pressed, pulse thundering. "Now?" He leaned in, voice low. "I see you, Alex. Really see you. And I hate what I did." The bar's jukebox crooned some old Springsteen tune about glory days, and for the first time, I let myself wonder. What if the bully's apology was the hook, pulling us towards something real? The confession hung between us like smoke from a dying fire, thick and impossible to ignore. Jake's knee brushed mine under the scarred wooden table. Not accidental this time, and I didn't pull away. The bar's neon buzzed overhead, casting blue halos on his face, highlighting the faint scar above his eyebrow from a sophomore-year helmet clash I'd watched from the bleachers. Anonymous and aching. "Collateral," I echoed, tasting the bitterness. "That's what I was to you? A casualty in your war against feeling something?" He raked a hand through his hair, the gesture boyish, vulnerable. The Jake I'd glimpsed in stolen moments, not the mask he'd worn like armor. Worse, you were the mirror I smashed because I couldn't face the reflection. My folks, church every Sunday, Dad quoting Leviticus like it's the playbook. I knew I was different too, Alex. That drawing? It scared me because part of me wished it was mutual. The admission landed like a blindside tackle, knocking the air from my lungs. Mutual? The word unfurled in my chest, warm and treacherous, dredging up memories I'd buried under layers of resentment. Late nights replaying his laugh, not the cruel one, but the genuine bark after a touchdown, head thrown back to the stars. I'd convinced myself it was one-sided torture, but here he was, cracking open like a fault line. I signaled for another round, buying time as the foam settled. So what now, Harlan? You apologize, we high-five, and pretend Elmwood never happened. Sarcasm was my shield, but it slipped when his fingers grazed mine across the table. Hesitant, testing. Electricity arced, familiar yet new, like thunder recognizing lightning. No pretending. His grip tightened, calluses rough from laces and leather. I want to make it right, starting with the team. You're killing it out there. Fastest hands I've thrown to since Pee-wee. Let me show you I'm not that kid anymore. The Misfits' next scrimmage was against a corporate league squad from downtown. Suits turned athletes under fluorescent lights at the indoor dome. Jake called plays with a fire I'd only seen in highlight reels, his voice steady, inclusive. When I streaked downfield on a post route, the ball spiraled true, nestling into my gloves like it belonged there. Touchdown. The huddle erupted, his slap on my back lingering a beat too long, thumb tracing my spine through the jersey. Post-game, the team piled into cars for wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, but Jake cornered me in the lot. Ride with me. Rain from earlier had cleared, leaving the air crisp, stars punching through Columbus's light pollution. I nodded, sliding into his truck, the same one from high school, now with a Spartan sticker peeling on the dash, a relic of his transfer flop. We drove in loaded silence, windows cracked to the chill, until he pulled into an empty lot by the Scioto River, the water black and murmuring under the moon. Remember prom? He asked, killing the engine. The word conjured ghosts. Me alone in the art room, him tearing paper. I bailed on my date halfway through, drove out here, smoked half a pack, wondering what the hell I was doing. I turned, studying his profile, the strong nose, the lips I'd imagined 1,000 ways. And now you're wondering again? His laugh was soft, self-deprecating. Every damn day since seeing you at tryouts. You're out unapologetic. I envy that. Hell, I admire it. He shifted, facing me fully, the cab shrinking to the space between us. Can we start over? Coffee, not beer. No baggage. Baggage. Mine was a steamer trunk. The locker graffiti still faded on my mental walls. The nights I'd cried into my pillow, vowing never to love a straight boy again. But Jake's eyes held a plea, raw as an open playbook. One coffee, I conceded. But if you flake, Harlan, I'll spike your cleats with glitter. His grin split wide, boyish and bright. Deal. That coffee turned into walks along the Olentangy Trail, leaves crunching underfoot as autumn deepened. He'd talk football philosophy, how a good pocket presence was like trust, reading defenses like hearts. I'd share sketches from class, him poring over them with a focus that made my stomach flip. No kisses yet, just charged glances, hands brushing on park benches. It felt like courtship in a John Hughes film, all longing and mixtapes, until the world intruded. The betrayal hit on a Tuesday, gray skies threatening snow. I'd been dodging calls from my mom. Elmwood drama, she said, but vague. Then Jake texted, heard from coach. Varsity scouts watching our next game. This could be it for both of us. Elation surged. I'd been gunning for graphic design gigs, but the scout mentioned side hustle with team merch, logos, posters. A foot in the door. Practice that night was electric. Jake's throws laser-guided. My routes poetry in motion. But as we cooled down, stretching on the turf, his phone buzzed incessantly. He silenced it twice, jaw tight, before excusing himself to the sidelines. I watched from afar, chatting with Mia, our wide-out with the killer crossover, when his voice carried sharp, defensive. No, Dad. It's not like that. Just a wreck thing. Pause. Alex? Old teammate. Yeah, from high school. Kid's solid. Another pause, longer, his back to me but posture rigid. Look, I get it, but I'm handling my own shit now. Drop it. He hung up, shoulders slumping, and when he returned, his smile was forced. Family crap, he muttered, avoiding my eyes. I let it slide, but the seed of doubt sprouted, old patterns, echoes of Elmwood's sheriff breathing fire. The game was a slaughter, Misfits up 28-7 at half against the Scouts pickup squad. Jake owned the field, scrambling for yards, finding me in double coverage for a 60-yard bomb that sealed the hype. Post whistle, the varsity coach pulled us aside. Harlan, Rivera's got wheels. Consider you both for spring camp. Unofficial but real talk. We celebrated at his off-campus apartment. A shoebox with posters of Brady and Breeze, a fridge stocked with Gatorade. The team trickled out early, leaving us alone with pizza boxes and a six-pack. Tension simmered, the air thick with unspoken what-ifs. He queued up a playlist. Bon Iver, soft and haunting, and we sank onto the couch, thighs pressing. Alex, he whispered, turning my way. That Scout. It's because of you. You make me better. On and off the field. My breath hitched. Prove it. His hand cupped my cheek, thumb tracing my jaw, gentle, reverent. Our lips met, tentative at first, then deepening like a fourth-quarter drive, all hunger and heart. It was fireworks and homecoming, the taste of mint and victory. We broke apart gasping, foreheads touching, his whisper fierce. I'm all in, no more hiding. But hiding was in his blood, and the next morning, it clawed back. I woke to his side of the couch empty, coffee brewing, but his phone lit up on the counter. Texts from Dad. Heard about your teammate. Don't embarrass the family, son. We raised you better. My stomach plummeted. How much had he spilled? And what price would Jake pay for us? The apartment smelled of burnt toast and betrayal when I slipped out that morning. Jake still snoring softly on the couch, one arm flung where I'd been. His phone stayed dark on the counter. Those texts of venomous aftertaste I couldn't rinse away. Columbus dawned crisp, leaves swirling like confetti in the wind. But my steps to the bus stop felt leaden. We raised you better. The words looped, a sheriff's gavel pounding nails into the fragile bridge we'd built. Class that day blurred, life drawing. My charcoal strokes too heavy on the model's shoulders, echoing Jake's burdens. By afternoon, my inbox pinged. An email from the varsity merch coordinator, CCING Jake. Impressed by your portfolio, Rivera. Harlan vouches hard. Mock up some concepts. Elation flickered, dimmed by doubt. Was this genuine shot or leverage in his family tug-of-war? I texted him mid-studio session. Coffee later? Need to talk. Dots danced, then can't. Dad in town. Practice tomorrow? No emoji, no warmth, just deflection. My gut twisted. This was Elmwood Redux, the shove before the storm. Evening found me at the Union, sketching under the hum of vending machines, when Mia plopped down with a tray of fries. Spill, Rivera. You and QB have that post-win glow, but your face says fumble. She was sharp, our team's unofficial therapist, with tattoos peeking from her sleeves and a no BS stare. I hesitated, then unloaded. The high school hell, the tentative thaw, last night's kiss that tasted like promise. Her fries went cold as she listened, nodding fierce. Sounds like classic closet case panic. My ex pulled the same, daddy issues bigger than his biceps. You deserve out and proud, Alex. Not this halftime show. Her words armored me, but sleep evaded that night, dreams tangled with ripped drawings and spiraling passes. Morning practice dawned foggy, the dome's turf slick with dew. Jake was already there, tossing warm-ups with mechanical precision. His hey clipped as I laced up. Huddle time, he avoided my flank. Calls barked to the group without the sidelong glances that had become our code. My first route, a slant, he underthrew, easy pick for the safety drill. Focus, Rivera, he snapped, the old edge creeping in. Heads turned. Mia shot me a what the hell look. Halftime water break. I cornered him by the benches. What's this? Back to ignoring me because Daddy Dearest rolled into town. His eyes darted guilt, yes, but laced with fear. Not now, Alex. He's watching from the stands. Incognito, but, you know. I laughed. Bitter. Incognito? Like your feelings? Last night. Last night was real. He hissed. Close enough I smelled his soap. Clean and torturous. But if he finds out, he'll pull funding for the program. My spot. Everything. And I'm the expendable variable again? Collateral 2.0? Heat rose, vision blurring. Tell him, Jake. Or I will, for both of us. Panic flashed. You can't. Please. His hand gripped my arm, pleading. Give me time. Time. The word was sand slipping through fingers. I yanked free, storming to the field, channeling fury into cuts and leaps. Second half, I torched the defense, 3 TDs all on audibles I called myself, bypassing his throws. The whistle blew. We won, but the huddle felt hollow. His good game mumbled like an afterthought. Post-practice, his truck idled at the curb. No rain this time, just the weight of unspoken ultimatums. I climbed in uninvited, the cab silent as he drove aimlessly, knuckles white on the wheel. Talk, I demanded, as we looped past Frat Row. Bass thumping from parties we ignored. He pulled over by a park, engine ticking cool. Dad cornered me this morning. Saw the scout email, put 2 and 2 together about. Thinks you're a distraction. Threatened to yank his donations unless I straighten up. The pieces clicked. Sheriff's influence. Deep pockets in boosters clubs. And your play? Lie low. Play straight. Literally? Yeah. Shame colored his cheeks. I hate it, Alex. But the draft is my shot out. For both of us, eventually. Us. I echoed. Incredulous. There's no us if you're ashamed. I came out at 18, lost friends, gained peace. You think I want to sneak around like some prohibition bootleg? He reached for me, but I recoiled. You're right. I know. Just one dinner with him. Let me ease him in. Dinner. The word conjured family tables, interrogations masked as small talk. Against better judgment, I nodded curiosity or masochism. We met at a steakhouse off I-71, wood-paneled and stuffy, the kind of place where deals are sealed over ribeyes. Sheriff Harlan was a carbon copy of Jake, aged hard, square jaw, buzz-cut graying at temples, eyes like flint striking for weakness. Alex Rivera, he boomed, handshake crushing. Jake speaks highly. Art major, My boy hears all pigskin and protein shakes. I forced a smile, menu blurring. Graphic design, sir. Logos, that sort of thing. Actually mocked up some for the team. Might have caught your son's eye. Jake tensed beside me, fork midway to mouth. The sheriff's brow arched. Team, huh? Rec league's cute, but real men chase rings. Jake, pass the bread. Dinner dragged, war stories from the force, jabs at kids these days with their sensitivities. When I mentioned a pride event on campus, casual as weather, the air iced. Heard about that, Harlan grunted. Town's going soft. Back home, we keep things biblical. Jake's foot nudged mine under the table, apology anchor. I held steady, countering with tales of OSU's championship runs, steering to neutral ground. By dessert, the sheriff thawed fractionally. You got grit, kid. Remind me of Jake at your age, before the distractions. Distractions. The word landed like a penalty flag. Jake's face paled. He excused himself, phone in hand. In the lot after, Harlan clapped my shoulder, hard. Keep him focused, son. Family first. His truck peeled out, taillights fading into night. Jake lingered by his door, deflated. You were amazing. Handled him like a pro. But, I prompted, sensing the fracture. He sighed. He cornered me in the bathroom. That Rivera's got that look. Don't let him turn you. I denied it, had to. But Alex, it killed me. The denial stung deeper than any shove. Turns me? Like I'm a phase, a fumble to recover from, tears pricked, hot and unwelcome. I'm done being your secret playbook. I walked away, bus fumes and regret my companions. Days blurred into avoidance, practices mechanical, texts unread. The Misfits qualified for playoffs, but our spark fizzled. Jake overthrew, I dropped catches born of distraction. Mia pulled me aside pre-game. Dump the drama, or it'll tank us all. Playoffs loomed. A semi against rivals from Akron. Under the big lights at the shoe, scouts in the stands like vultures. Jake cornered me pre-warm-ups, jersey untucked, eyes red-rimmed. I ended it with Dad. Told him I'm bi, that you're not a distraction, you're my drive. He hung up, but it's out. Shock rooted me. And the fallout? Whatever. Worth it for this. He pulled me into shadow, kiss fierce and final, tasting of turf and truth. Play with me tonight. For real. The whistle blew. We exploded onto the field, chemistry reborn in fire. Passes connected like synapses, my routes his visions made flesh. Halftime tied, storm clouds gathering, but fourth quarter we surged. Final drive, down by 3, 2 minutes left. Jake scrambled, evaded, launched a Hail Mary. I leaped, bodies colliding, ball secure in double coverage. Touchdown as time expired. The pylon was euphoria. His hug crushing, whisper lost in cheers. I love you, but love's a long yardage, and betrayal waited in the end zone. The victory horn blared through the shoe like a heartbeat, confetti swirling in the spotlights as the Misfits claimed the rec championship. A scrappy underdog tale for the ages. Jake hoisted the trophy, grinning for the cameras, but his eyes sought mine across the turf, a private signal amid the chaos. I waved back, chest swelling with something fiercer than pride. Possibility. For the first time since Elmwood, victory felt shared, not stolen. Locker room aftermath was a blur of high fives and champagne showers. Non-alcoholic, per league rules, but bubbly enough to fizz in our veins. Jake pulled me into a supply closet for a stolen moment, door clicking shut on the roar outside. We did it, he murmured, lips brushing my temple, hands framing my face like fragile art. You did it. We? I corrected, pulling him closer, the kiss salt-laced from sweat and elation. It was more than lust. Affirmation. A vow etched in the dim glow of emergency lights. Emerging flushed, we faced the team. Mia wolf whistling, the guys chanting River Harlan, like it was our call sign. But euphoria's shelf life is short in Ohio winters. Jake's phone vibrated relentlessly post-game, sheriff's number flashing like a warning flare. He silenced it, but the shadow lingered. We crashed at my dorm that night, neutral ground, away from his apartment's echoes. Curled under threadbare blankets, his head on my chest, he confessed in whispers. Dad left a voicemail. Disowned me, basically. Don't come home till you're fixed. My fingers stilled in his hair. Fixed? Jesus, Jake. That's not love. That's control. I know. His voice muffled against my shirt. But it's freedom too. No more pretending. I came out to the team chat this morning, full disclosure. Crickets so far, but it's done. Bravery like that cracked me open. I held him tighter, murmuring plans. Spring break road trip to Chicago. Pride flags on his truck. A future sketched in bold lines. Sleep came easy. Dreams of gridirons turning to gardens, where bullies bloomed into beloveds. Monday brought the scouts' formal invite. Spring camp for both of US, Jake as QB prospect, me for creative services, designing helmets and hype videos. Campus buzzed. Articles in the Lantern dubbed us the Rec League Renegades, speculating on our bromance. Jake leaned into it, posting couple-wise selfies, hands only for deniability, while I navigated the whispers with a shrug, out and unbothered. But cracks spiderwebbed. Jake's throws and open drills faltered, scouts murmuring about mechanical issues. Off-field, he withdrew, canceled study dates for extra film, eyes distant over takeout. I chalked it up to pressure, but Mia's radar pinged true. He's spiraling, Alex. Dad's poison runs deep. Confrontation brewed at a house party on Worthington Street. Bass thumping from speakers. Bodies packed like sardines. Jake arrived late, solo, nursing a solo cup with the intensity of a lifeline. I found him on the back porch, staring at the alley like it held answers. Booze before camp? I teased, sliding beside him. Living dangerously, Harlan? He startled, forcing a laugh. Just decompressing. Dad emailed, wants a family meeting. Neutral ground, mediator. Thinks therapy'll cure me. The word curdled the air. Cure? Like you're broken. Fury simmered. I gripped the railing. Don't go. That's not family. That's a tribunal. His shoulders sagged. I have to. Closure, you know? Prove I'm okay without him. Okay. I echoed, hollow. But if he drags you back into that closet. The party swallowed us after, but his distance grew. A brush off here, a vague text there. Spring camp kicked off under relentless sun. The shoes annex a grind of suicides and 7-on-7s. Jake shone in bursts, his arm whipping ropes that scouts clocked at 70 yards, but consistency waned. Me? I thrived in the design trailer, churning logos that popped. Sleek bucks with rainbow accents, subtle nods to inclusivity. The head coach noticed, pulling me for a sidebar. Rivera, you've got vision. Harlan's got the gun. Together, y'all could be gold. If only. That night, post-drill beers at the Roost, Jake ghosted early. Headache, he texted. No call. Worry nod. I biked to his place, finding the door ajar, lights low. Inside voices. His strained. A woman's soft and coaxing. Think about it, Jake. PR gold me on your arm at the draft party. Dad's already on board. Says it'll smooth things over. I froze in shadow, heart jackhammering. Emily Voss, varsity cheer captain, blonde ambition personified, the distraction he dodged in college rumors. She perched on his couch, hand on his knee, while he sat rigid, staring at the floor. It's not that simple. Alex. Forget him. That rec league fling? Cute, but this is pro. Scouts ask questions. I shut him down. Her laugh tinkled, sharp. Besides, I know your type. Experimenting's fine, but settling's smart. Betrayal bloomed cold in my gut. Fling? Experiment? I backed out silent, door whispering shut, pedaling into night with tears blurring taillights. At my dorm, I scrolled old texts, his I love you now poison pills. Mia answered my 2 a.m. call, voice groggy but steady. Dump his ass. You deserve a starter, not a backup plan. Dawn brought resolve. I texted Jake, we're done. Focus on your settling. Don't contact me. No response. Camp continued. Awkward orbits, him avoiding my routes, me channeling rage into designs that screamed louder than words. Whispers spread. Harlan's dating Voss. Saw M at the Union. The semi-final showcase loomed. An intra-squad scrimmage under National Scout eyes. Our bromance narrative now tabloid fodder. Jake cornered me pre-warm-up. Eyes hollowed. Alex, wait. Emily's nothing PR stunt. Dad's idea. I told her no, but you didn't tell me. I whirled, voice steel. You let her sit on your couch, trash us like yesterday's stat sheet. That's not love. That's cowardice. Guilt ravaged his face. I panicked. He's cutting me off, rent, truck, everything. Emily's family has connections. Connections over conviction? We're not a merger, Jake. Pain clawed. I shoved past, jersey taut. Play your game. I'll play mine. Scrimmage was carnage. Red versus white, scouts' pens scratching furious. I was white jersey, fast and feral, torching secondaries for yards after catch. Jake, red QB1, force-fed throws, overthrowing ghosts. Halftime. Tied. Coach roared. Harlan, find your receiver. Rivera, quit freelancing. Third quarter, it peaked. Jake audibled a deep post, my route. Ball hung, defenders closing. I elevated, snagging it one-handed, toes in bounds for 6. The bench erupted, but his face, triumph twisted with torment. Post-touchdown, he jogged over, helmet off, sweat-streaked. "That was us," he gasped. "Don't quit on us." I yanked off my lid, breath ragged. "You did first." Final drive, Red trailing by 3. Jake dropped back, pocket collapsing. He scrambled, me streaking sideline. The throw wobbled, tipped by a rusher. It sailed wild into the stands. Incomplete. Clock ticked. Scout side. On the Hail Mary desperation lob, I leaped, but contact jarred it loose. Interception. White won. Jake's stock plummeted. Lockers emptied in silence. He lingered. Bench slumped. "I blew it. Everything." "Not everything," I said, softer than intended. "But trust? That's fumbled for good." I walked out, leaving him in fluorescent defeat. Little did I know, the real climax brewed off-field. A reckoning that would shatter us both, or solder something unbreakable. The fallout from the scrimmage hit like a nor'easter. Headlines in the Dispatch. OSU prospect Harlan stumbles in spotlight. Rivera shines solo. Scouts circled me like bees to honey. Offers for internships at Nike's design wing. Even a nod from the Browns' creative team. Jake? Radio silence from pros. Whispers of mental fragility, tainting his tape. Emily Voss posted coy couple pics. Coffee dates. Gym selfies. Cementing the narrative. Golden boy back on script. I threw myself into work. Dorm walls papered with concepts. Helmets etched with resilience motifs. Posters blending grit and grace. Mia dragged me to drag bingo at Axis. Laughter a bomb. But nights brought ghosts. Jake's laugh in empty stadiums. His hand in mine under stars. Betrayal festered, but so did the ache. Love doesn't evaporate. It ferments into something potent, dangerous. 2 weeks post-fumble, my phone rang, unknown Ohio number. "Alex Rivera? This is Harlan Sr. We need to talk." I veined my spine. "Sir." "Cut the polite." "Jake's a mess, booze, skipped classes. That Voss girl's a shark. Using him for clout while his head's in the clouds over you." A pause. Heavy. "Meet me." Coffee shop on lane neutral. Curiosity warred with caution. I went, armored in hoodie and hurt. The sheriff waited in a corner booth. Uniform swapped for flannel. Looking smaller without the badge's weight. "Black, 2 sugars," he grunted, pushing a mug my way. No preamble. I fucked up. Raised him with fists and fear, thought it'd toughen him. Turns out, it broke him. Stunned, I sipped, scalding. "And now? The cure talk." He winced. "Bible studies poison, son. Lost my wife to cancer young. Clung to scripture like a crutch. Jake coming out. Forced me to see it's not the devil. It's just life. I's met mine, raw." I pushed Emily to reel him in. Protect the legacy. But legacies are bullshit without heart. "Why tell me?" I pressed, walls cracking. "Because you're the heart he needs." Pulled strings for that scout invite, your work, his arm. "Don't let my mistakes bury him." He slid an envelope across. "Keys to a cabin upstate, Harlan family retreat. Take him there. Talk, or don't. But end the silence." I left dazed. Envelope burning in my pocket. Text to Jake, cabin keys. Lane and high, 6 p.m. "Your call." No reply, but dusk brought his truck rumbling up. Him emerging gaunt, unshaven. A shadow of the quarterback who'd owned Fields. "Alex." My name cracked on his lips. We drove north in taut quiet. I-71 unwinding to rural hush. The cabin a log-hewn haven by a frozen lake. Inside, fire crackled from my match. We unpacked silences over stew from cans. "I'm sorry," he started, voice gravel. Emily was a Hail Mary. Desperate play to appease Dad, salvage draft dreams. Told her off after the scrimmage. She's history. But losing you, that's the real interception. Words tumbled. His isolation post-disownment. Bottles blurring the pain. Scout's cold shoulders confirming fears. I thought hiding would protect us, get stable, then come out big. But it just buried me alive. I listened, firelight dancing on his scars, literal and not. You buried us? I countered gentle steel. Trust isn't a fourth-quarter decision. It's every snap. I can't be your redemption arc if you're still scripting alone. He nodded, tears carving tracks. Teach me, then, how to be brave like you. Dawn broke powdery, lake ice groaning. We walked the shore, boots crunching, breaths fogging. High school, I began, halting. Your taunts. They made me invisible. But they also made me fierce, art as armor coming out as sword. He stopped, facing me. I was terrified, felt the pull toward you, hated myself for it. Bullied to bury it. Hand extended, tentative. Let me rebuild. No PR, no plays, just us. I took it, pulse sinking. The kiss was slow, lake wind whispering approval. A thawing, not a blaze. We stayed 3 days. Hikes dissecting old wounds, nights mapping futures. Me in design lofts, him coaching youth leagues if drafts dodged. Humanistic hope bloomed. Love as mirror, reflecting growth. Back in Columbus, reintegration was tentative. I resumed camp designs. He hit the weight room, therapy sessions logged like reps. Emily's posts vanished. Dad's calls resumed, gruff check-ins, progress reports. The team welcomed us cautious. Mia's hugs, Guy's nods evolving to invites. But climax brewed in shadows. A final betrayal, not Jake's, but fate's cruel twist. Late May, pre-draft buzz, Jake collapsed mid-drill. Knee buckling, the old injury rebelling under steroid whispers from shady trainers. MRI confirmed. Full tear, season over, draft dreams shredded. Hospital room sterile white, his face ashen under beeping monitors. It's done, he rasped, gripping my hand. All that hiding, for nothing. I stroked his brow steady. Not nothing. You faced it, us head-on. Doctors murmured surgery, rehab marathons. Scouts scattered like leaves. Discharge brought hard choices. Dad arrived, not with lectures but casseroles, sitting vigil with bad cop jokes. Tougher than any tackle, he told Jake, clapping my shoulder. Thanks for the nudge, son. Rehab grind tested us. Jake's frustration lashing out, my patience fraying over canceled dates. One night, storm raging, he hurled a crutch. I'm worthless now. Why stick with a sidelined has-been? I knelt, gathering pieces. Because you're not the jersey, Jake. You're the heart under it, the one that apologized, that fought. We'll rewrite the playbook. Summer deepened. Progress inched. I landed the Nike gig, remote from Columbus, commuting for his sessions. Pride weekend we marched, his limp a badge, my arm his anchor. Rainbows blurred in tears. He whispered, "This is home." Yet by kitsch shadowed. Draft day passed in quiet agony, his name absent from boards. Emily's fiancé announcement trended. Ironically, a rival QB. Jake scrolled once, then deleted apps. Their loss. Fall semester dawned renewed. Varsity camp? He coached assistants, voice steady. I designed the season's unveil, our signatures intertwined. The misfits reformed, him as strategist, me still streaking routes. First game, under lights, he called from sidelines. Rivera, post, now. Touchdown. Huddle hug lingered. Cheers faded to us. But the true peak? A quiet November eve. Leaves gold fallen. Cabin revisited. On the porch, stars vast, he knelt. Not in defeat, but devotion. Alex Rivera, you turned my fumble into forever. Marry me? Ring simple, silver band etched with a spiral route. Tears yes. Kiss sealed it. Life post-proposal? Human tapestry. Dad at therapy, walking him down an aisle someday. My folks beaming at visits, Elmwood scars faded. Jake coaches high school now, mentoring out kids with stories of bullies turned beloveds. I freelance, murals in stadiums telling tales like ours. Redemption arcs, bold and bright. We didn't conquer drafts, but we claimed something rarer. Grace under fire, love as the ultimate play. In America's heartland, where fields stretch endless, two boys from mud and malice found their end zone. Not in glory, but in each other. And damn, it feels like winning.